Hi, welcome back to Ballet Marvel, and the sixth ballet I will be talking about. My personal favorite ballet, The Winter's Tale, um, which this was included with Wanda Maximoff Week because the themes fit perfectly with her. Um, it's the themes are grief, anger, and poor decisions made in grief and anger. This is a ballet based on a Shakespeare play, and it's gorgeous and it's moving and it is my favorite ballet. It's everything about it is perfect and it's beautiful. Um, it's phenomenal. It has one of the few Perditas that does not annoy me that or bore me. Um, Watching Ed Watson and Lauren Cuthbertson perform it was so moving. Um, Ed Watson, who plays King Leontis, and his wife. Ed Watson plays King Leontis. Lauren Cuthbertson plays Leontis's wife, the Queen Hermione. Um, she. It's at the end of the play after everything has happened, and it's really lovely. And the way it ends, you're not entirely sure if she forgives him, and I really like that because we're not owed knowing whether she forgives him. In fact, it's not the audience's place to know. It's entirely Hermione's decision and Hermione's choice, and it's a really great way to end the ballet. That Perdita is just so gorgeous. Um, Edward Watson as Leontis performs one of the most accurate portrayals of jealousy that I've ever seen, and it's so great. It's scary and it's unsettling and it's just everything that you need to portray jealousy. Um, and it. Oh God. So the story is like this king has a best friend and he has his wife and they all love each other. And then one day, for some reason, the king just believes his best friend is sleeping with his wife, or he thinks his wife favors him, favors his best friend, and he gets so unreasonably jealous about it, and it's terrifying because it comes out of nowhere. It's like nobody did anything, and this guy just let his jealousy overwhelm him and affect how he basically like shuns his best friend, um, locks his wife away, uh, and it just so much tragedy ensues from that incident, um, and it's just like it's like we've all experienced jealousy at one point or another, and many of us have done stupid shit because we've been jealous. And just the idea that you can destroy your entire life, and not only your life, but the life of your loved ones. I mean, that's a chilling thought. And this ballet really, really explores that. Um, yeah, oh gosh. The second half of the ballet is mostly like, so after his son dies and his wife dies too, um, the king's the queen's friend Paulina has her husband take Perdita, the king's newborn daughter, away to hide her so that she can be safe from her father's madness. Um, and then the second part of the ballet is kind of like Perdita, the king's daughter, living her life and just being happy and light and carefree. And while the king is just living with so many regrets and grief and just probably trying to figure out how it all went so horribly wrong. Um, yeah, and eventually, there's a big reunion, and Hermione is restored to life, and yeah, it ends on a very ambiguous note, which I feel the story needed. It needed to end kind of ambiguously, because again, as a viewer, it's not our place to know what the Queen's decision was, after suffering so much tragedy. Yeah, it's a really great ballet. I love the character of Paulina, Hermione's friend, and a noblewoman. She is so fierce and so strong, and she does not, she calls Leontis out on his shit. Like, she refuses to give him an inch. Like, no, you fucked up, and you're going to admit you fucked up, and you're going to make amends for how badly you fucked up. She's such an incredible character, and I love her. I also really love the character of Perdita. I tend to be kind of like lukewarm on characters similar to Perdita. But something about how like light and carefree in the middle of kind of a heavy story. It was kind of like, I think she's kind of like the relief. So like, when you're dealing with subject matter this kind of dark and heavy, or a story this kind of dark and heavy, you need a character who's kind of light and carefree, just to kind of give the audience a little breath of fresh air. And she loves to. The dancer who plays Perdita is always kind of like just really lovely and light, and just she's a fun character to watch. I really love the character of Perdita. Leontis and Predita reuniting is so moving. It's real. So, Leontis' best friend, of course, is the father of the guy who's in love with Perdita. The prince who's in love with Perdita. And of course, Perdita lives as kind of like a common woman. Because again, she's in hiding. So, the king... Oh god, the king... Leontis' best friend, of course, just is like... tells his son, you cannot see that woman. And the prince is like, fuck you! Fucking takes off with Perdita. They wind up in Leontis' kingdom. Oh god. It's such a moving reunion, but it's also kind of a hilarious one. Because obviously it's all like... It's all very good fortune. So they wind up in Leontis' kingdom. And they're like begging Leontis for shelter, and he's like, yeah, sure, you can hang here. I don't understand why anybody's pissed at you guys, but sure, yeah, hang in my bed. Or hang in my castle, my bed. Jesus Christ. Hang in my castle. You chill in my castle, that's cool. And then his best friend shows up, and there's like awkwardness. To say the least. And I forget which comes first. If he and his best friend reunite, or if he finds out. I think he and his best friend, like his best friend comes and Leontis is apologetic, like, sorry, I was a fucking dick. And the friend's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just here looking for my kid. Still hate you. So yeah, and I think it's Paulina. Yeah, it's Paulina who realizes who Perdita is. And Leontis is just so overwhelmed. Like, my daughter has returned to me. And then he talks some sense into his best friend. Like, hey, don't be a dick like I was. And then, obviously, there's just a huge reunion and a party. And, like I said, it kind of ends with, it ends with the pas de deux between Leontis and Hermione. I really love it. Because I think the ending is about forgiveness. I really do think the ending is about forgiveness. And, I think it's about moving on while still acknowledging and accepting the consequences of your actions. I really love that it's not like a neat and clean, like, oh, yay, everything's cool now that everything's been undone. No. What happened still happened, and it's gonna linger. As it should. But that doesn't mean you can't move past it. And it's a really, really beautiful ballet, and it's a beautiful ending to a really beautiful ballet. And I just, it's so, it's really amazing. There needs to be more Shakespeare ballet, like ballets based on Shakespeare plays, because it just does really, really, Shakespeare translates so well to ballet. I cannot state that enough. Um, yeah. I even wrote that. There needs to be more ballets based on Shakespeare plays. Please. Oh, I'd love to see, like, Macbeth or Othello as ballet. God, I'd love to see I'd like to see all of Shakespeare's plays as ballets, to be honest. But yeah, I'm a Shakespeare nerd, so surprise. Yeah. So that's it. The Winter's Tale. As always, there will be a blog with links to rehearsals and clips. I believe there is a clip of Ed Watson as Leontis dancing jealousy. That portrayal of jealousy I've mentioned quite a lot. Yeah. So definitely look up the links at my blog. Thanks to my bestie for curating those. She seriously curated like all the links for all the ballets and all the dancers. It was pretty incredible. I was like, oh, awesome. So yeah. Anyhow, that's my favorite ballet of all time, The Winter's Tale. Look up the links and enjoy. Not sure if it'll ever be available for streaming again, but I hope so, because it's one of those ballets everybody should see. All right. Thanks, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Bye.